Yasher koach. Now you can take a deep breath. The past week or two has been a week of new decisions and new experiences for the Drash family. With that in mind, this Shabbat, I want to be a little bit selfish and share those two experiences, those two stories. I want to talk about their connection to the parasha and explain what I believe the Torah can teach us about how we as Jews can make better Jewish decisions living in what is largely a non-Jewish world. Story number one took place on Sunday morning, a little bit before 8 o'clock, when I taught my first Bible study class at Johnson Ferry Baptist Church. Yeah, I hear you're all impressed, right? There you go, right? Although I want to say we are lagging way behind as Jews on Bible study attendance. I get 20 on a Thursday morning. I show up on Sunday. Hundreds of people sitting there ready to listen to the rabbi. Now, some of you may know that for years I have enjoyed lots of nice relationships with different churches in the area. I inherited a lot of that from many of you who have nice relationships with different churches in the area. But I have largely avoided attempting to make any contact with Johnson Ferry Baptist. Mostly because of my self-perception that their theology is a little bit closed-minded when it comes to people who are not like them. Yet over the years, I've developed a really lovely relationship with one person who attends that church. He actually leads trips to Israel. He's a mensch. He's even been here for Kol Nidre, undercover. And he wore a kippah, literally undercover. He's also been here for a community Seder before, and so when he invited me and said, "Rabbi, will you come teach a class to my Bible study class at Johnson Ferry?" I decided that I really didn't have a choice. I was going to go. And here's what happened. I taught. No one asked me why I didn't believe in Jesus. I got interesting, respectful questions. I got to bless the crowd. I got thank yous. It was a lovely experience, and I went home. Story number two took place a month ago when Amy and I made another big decision. We decided that we were going to sign up Zev for a little league that meets about a half a mile from our house. We'd been reluctant for years to sign him up for that little league. Some of the games are on Shabbat, but also because we had also heard horror stories about this league's reputation for weekend warrior dad coaches who all love to live vicariously through their children. I don't even need to say the name of the league, y'all know what it is already. However, the JCC in Dunwoody no longer runs baseball leagues for my kids, and traveling to Dunwoody is a bit of a pain. And so Amy and I sat down and we discussed how we were going to navigate this choice as a family. And again, I want to be really candid here. We spoke to many of you about your own challenges with this particular league, and we were scared half to death. How could we tell Zeb's future coach, who we assumed was going to be named Dansby or Rex or Travis, not Shlomo or Chaim, that Zev was not going to be playing in any Friday night or Saturday morning baseball games and practices? We didn't say anything during the first practice. At the second practice, Amy went to the head coach. She explained that Zev was Jewish, that we were Sabbath observant. In case you're curious, we didn't drop the R-bomb. Rabbi. We said he was going to miss Friday night practices and games and Saturday mornings. And what do you think the coach said? No problem. Not every kid makes every game and every practice. We have a little cell phone app. Just let us know when he's coming. His wife then chimed in. She's co-leading the team. And she said, by the way, we know what Sabbath observant is. We have neighbors down the street who are Sabbath observant too. Thank you to whichever one of you that is, by the way. Parashat Re'eh talks about the power of making Jewish decisions. Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom, we are told to choose between living our lives as either a blessing or as a curse. Living in 21st century Marietta, Georgia, I suspect that for many of you, making Jewish decisions is not as easy as it could have been for the people living in the desert all those many years ago. It also probably is a lot harder than if we lived in Israel or New York or New Jersey. Yet as Jews enjoying the Southern experience in 21st century America, it's not always so clear for us what choices are blessings and what choices are going to be curses. Is it a blessing if your kid misses school on the second day of Rosh Hashanah because it will strengthen their Jewish identity? Is that a blessing? Or is it a curse when they miss school and have to catch up on material? Is it a blessing in the working world when your client calls you at 12 o'clock Erev Kol Nidre and says, I want this project done no later than 10 o'clock tonight? And so you choose to stay home and miss Kol Nidre. Your client's thrilled with you. But is it a curse that you've missed Kol Nidre? Perhaps you will say, this Shabbat, Rabbi Dorsch, you got lucky. Not once, but twice. You found a nice, accepting guy from Johnson Ferry Baptist Church, and you found a coach who kind of knew what Shabbos was. What a bracha. Well, this morning I want to tell you, I think that it's actually more than luck. I believe that I learned a thing or two about these experiences, two things about Jewish decision-making that I want to share with everyone in this room, because I feel like in my role, I want to help you make good choices, Jewish choices, brachot, while helping you to avoid the klalot, the curses, the pitfalls that I know so many of us deal with living as Jews in a largely non-Jewish world. First and foremost, I learned that we have to keep in mind when it comes to making Jewish decisions, whether with regard to your children in your life or whether it's regard to you, that with few exceptions, the way you imagine the conversation going about your faith is probably way less worse than you think it's going to be. Now, that's not to say that there aren't exceptions. There will always be a band leader. Yes, a band leader. A boss, a coach, who is so myopically passionate about what they do, they are incapable of understanding the world through any other lens. Guess what, guys? There are rabbis who are like that too. I wish we lived in a world where everyone understood what Judaism was, why everyone understood why Jews can't just believe in Jesus. And yeah, it stinks that sometimes we need to be ambassadors when our neighbors are ignorant. But here's the deal. I find these conversations create opportunities for growth and learning and for blessing, not only for us, but for our non-Jewish friends and neighbors as well. I know how excited Talia was to recite her Haftorah in Hebrew today for all of her non-Jewish friends. Have any of you heard her read so much Hebrew in her life before? They're all shrugging their shoulders. For years, I avoided a difficult conversation that needed to be had with our school district. And that was a mistake. Only now I want to share with you this Shabbat the language that I crafted along with input from colleagues that is going to be sent to all Cobb County principals of all of the schools, to be sent to the teachers about absence on Yom Kippur. And I got to tell you, most of these facts that I mentioned in this email were completely unknown to them and would have never, ever been revealed had we not had the conversation. Here's the email your principals are going to get and that the teachers are going to get. Dear faculty, please anticipate widespread absence among the Jewish students for observance on Yom Kippur, which goes from the evening of October 4th through October 5th this year. I checked that date about 15 times. As many students will be absent and attending synagogue for the duration of the holiday, we ask that you do not schedule major assignments or exams due on those days. Additionally, because this observance customarily includes a 25-hour fast, in parentheses, no eating or drinking, they did not know that. We also ask that any, quote, makeup work not be scheduled to be due the day after the holiday to give our students the best chance at success. We thank you in advance for showing sensitivity to our Jewish students and supporting their observance of the Jewish holidays. Some of you who are teachers will let me know if you get that email or not. Yet, friends, there is also something else that I learned, a second thing in my experience with my Little League and with Johnson Ferry that has led me to understand something else. And that is that when you do encounter a curse, when you encounter a pitfall that makes you question whether you're doing something wrong, when you encounter something that makes you question your Jewish values, the response cannot be to conform with what they want you to do. The response has to be with Jewish pride, what you know is right, what you want to do. Don't ask them if it's okay. Inform them and tell them what you're doing. When a band leader tells you that if your child misses even one rehearsal, it's going to be a curse, say, gee, I am committed to my religion and that's a blessing. My child is going to miss a few sessions because of religious school. I hope that's not going to be a problem for you because it's not a problem for us. If you encounter a teacher who is so insistent that Yom Kippur must be a day when they teach new material, say, it's not to worry. Sandy Koufax missed pitching a World Series game on Yom Kippur. I think my kid is going to figure out your third period physics class too. As Jews encountering ignorance of Judaism, we spend way too much time letting others put the onus on us to be uncomfortable. Yet when we are proud of who we are, and we put the onus on them, I promise you will see most people will be way more understanding than you give them credit for. And if they are not, call me. I'm going to teach them how to be a little bit more understanding. It's a new world, Goldie. I am so glad that at long last, Zev is playing baseball nearby, and that I made my long-lost pilgrimage to Johnson Ferry Baptists. Not only have I learned to better connect with some of the struggles that y'all experience in the community, and I can now sympathize with them, but I hope that I have shared through my own experience the way that we can bring blessings not only to ourselves, but to the lives of our non-Jewish neighbors in the worlds in which we live. There are always going to be bad apples, but we can't let those bad apples lead us to expect the worst in people. And when we do encounter the worst, we cannot let those yutzes change us. We can move the needle by being proud of who we are. Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem. God says there are no shortage of opportunities to bring blessing to the world. By being proud of being Jewish, we can all live our lives as a blessing. Amen. Where's my round of applause? No, I'm just kidding.